Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jess Colbush, and I'm your host for today. I'm part of the ECOP program's training and mentoring task team. For those recently becoming familiar with the Early Career Ocean Professionals Network, it's a program at the heart of the UN Ocean Decade for Ocean Science for Sustainable Development and was also endorsed by the UN Ocean Decade as a network program in 2021. Our mission is to elevate and strengthen the diverse perspectives of new generations of oceans professionals through a collective voice, ensuring that the knowledge is transferred between experienced and early career ocean professionals to promote ocean sustainability for the ocean we want. As part of the knowledge we want to share among future professionals and professionals, we developed a series of webinars that aim to train and inform the community of ocean lovers. And today we have an exciting and super interesting webinar. Our episode 23 is dedicated to the development opportunities for ECOPs with ASLO. I would also like to remind the audience that you can write your questions or comments in the Q&A section or in the chat. And before we continue, I'd first like to break the ice with a small poll to get to know our participants that are joining us today. So this will just pop up on your screen in one moment. Oh, wait, let me just start that again. We'll give everyone a few moments to answer. Looks like we have a really wide range of people joining us from all over the world, which is really great to see. And we've got a lot of ECOPs in the audience as well, which is awesome for the opportunities that are getting presented here today. I'm just going to end the poll now so you can all see those results. So yeah, we can see that, yeah, there's a large amount of ECOPs present. And then we also have a lot of people joining us from Europe and Asia, which is really great to see. So today our speakers will be moderated by Brittany Schieler. So I will hand it over to them and I'll be here to assist them whenever they need. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. Just want to start off by thanking the ECOP Network program for hosting this webinar. And we're really excited to talk to you today about some professional development opportunities for early career professionals with ASLO, the Association for the Sciences of Limnology and Oceanography. You can go to the next slide. As already mentioned, my name is Brittany Schieler, and I'm the Director of Communications and Programs for ASLO. I've been with ASLO for 4 years, and I'll be moderating the session today, and I'm very excited to be joined by a few representatives at ASLO who will be talking about some of the various programming and the resources that the Society has. So Rita Franco-Santos, who's a board member, a member at large, and has a lot of experience in the Society. Alia Benedict, who's joining us as another board member, a student member, and Cristina Vasquez, who is joining us as a early career committee member. So we have a lot of great representation today. So we're going to start off first with another poll to make it fun. So we can go ahead and get that first poll going. Let's see. Not sure I see the poll. There we go. So just a few introductory questions. Have you ever heard about ASLO? Just so we can see where everyone's at. And really important for us, what types of opportunities are you most interested in? So we'll take a few, maybe like a minute for that question. All right. I'm not sure. Does it seem like maybe everyone's
I
wrap
think
up in the next couple
I think
seconds?
we'll wait a few more moments for a few more
Okay.
people to answer. Okay, we'll end the poll now.
Thank you. All right. Oh, wow. We've got a couple members in the audience. Welcome. Yes, but I'm not a member and never heard about ASLO, equally represented there. Um, so welcome to our members and maybe potential members. And there's a lot of what opportunities are we interested in? That's wonderful. I think we're going to touch on a lot of these today. So we'll close out the results and we'll continue. So for those of us who've not heard about ASLO, ASLO is a leading international professional organization for researchers and educators focused solely on the areas of aquatic science and serving all career stages. And the organization began almost 70 years ago, started in the United States, and you can see here has expanded globally. As of December 2024, we had almost 3,000 members in 77 countries. And almost half of those members are student and early career members. So ASLO's mission, as stated, is to foster a diverse international scientific community that creates, integrates, and communicates knowledge across the full spectrum of aquatic sciences, advances public awareness and education about aquatic resources and research, and promotes scientific stewardship of aquatic resources for public interest. Now, that's a lot. So how does that break down? So we spend a lot of time talking about promoting science and scholarship and connecting the community. And we do this especially through publications and meetings. And we also have a wide variety of professional development programs for scientists and educators at all levels, including students and early career professionals. I'm going to talk a little bit about how the organization is structured. We have a member-elected board of directors. The board of directors is made up of an executive committee, which is the president, past president, president-elect, treasurer, and secretary, a variety of members at large that are proportional to our membership, and 2 student board members. And the members, like I mentioned, are elected from our global community, and we have elections every year. We are in the middle of our election for this year. So if you are a member, don't forget to vote for your board members. The organization also is run by committees. There are various committees that oversee the subject areas that we work on, and are ways for you as a potential member to get involved. Student and early career committees are represented here on this webinar, but we also have a very active education and engagement committee, ethics, finance meetings, nominations, publications, and awards. So if there's any area here that is of interest to you, there's a potential to get involved. The society also has staff, and we work with a variety of partners, like our publishing partner, Wiley. We're also part of a variety of multi-society consortia. And what I really want to stress here is that, of course, our members are part of our organizational structure. ASLO is a very volunteer-oriented and driven organization, very bottom-up focused, and so really allows our members to take initiative and start programming and share ideas. Go to the next slide. So I really like to think about what ASLO does under 3 thematic areas: meetings, publications, and programs. And we're going to spend the rest of today talking about some of these. So first is our meetings. This is usually when I meet early career professionals in the field, this is usually what people have heard about ASLO. We sponsor and co-sponsor a variety of meetings every year. And these meetings really serve to connect the aquatic science professionals around the world, have us come together and share the latest science. Our meeting programs usually include very diverse science in the aquatic sciences, very interdisciplinary, plenaries, workshops, and town halls that are run and put on by the community, networking events for all career stages, student, early career, and mid career and senior level networking events. So there's something for everybody. And then, of course, tons of professional development opportunities in person at our meetings. This is a picture from, the picture is from a poster session at one of our most recent meetings, the Aquatic Sciences meeting in 2023 in Palma, Spain. Okay, and we've got a few upcoming meetings that I'd like to highlight for 2026. We're co-sponsoring the Ocean Sciences meeting, which will be in Glasgow. This is very exciting. This is the first Ocean Sciences meeting that will be held outside of North America. So this is very exciting for us. We're right in the middle of session proposals. So if you want to propose a session or a town hall, please visit the website and propose something. You really have the opportunity here to shape the program at OSM. And we are joined here by Anna Vasquez, is the early career rep on the early career committee for this meeting. So she can answer any questions that there are about OSM. And then we are also co-sponsoring a joint meeting in 2026 in Montreal with the International Society of Limnology, and session proposals will be opening soon. Go to the next one. The next thematic area in ASLO is publications. We publish 4 journals, 3 peer-reviewed journals, Limnology and Oceanography, Limnology and Oceanography Letters, and Limnology and Oceanography Methods, and then also the LNO Bulletin, which is more of a magazine type of publication and a forum for the community to share news, viewpoints, opinions, and a lot more. What I really love about there's a lot of things I love about the journals, but when you submit and publish in one of our high impact society run journals, the revenue from the publication is reinvested back into our society programs, which helps us do a lot of the things that we'll talk about coming up. The editors and the editorial teams of these journals are really invested in professional development for early career members, and they're a fantastic group. Like I mentioned, the bulletin features articles from the community, and this is a really great way to read and to publish different types of scientific writing. So I think there's a slide on this later. We'll talk more about opportunities in the bulletin. And then, of course, the ASLO Communications Office loves to promote the work published by our authors. And then, the last thematic area, which we'll spend the rest of the webinar talking about, are programs, professional development programs and networking. We have 3 awards and 11 opportunities. So with that, I'm going to pass it now to Rita, who is going to walk us through some of these programs.
Thanks, Brittany. Thank you everyone for joining us. This is really exciting. I love talking about ASLO, so feel free to ask all the questions you have later. So I wanted to start on the programs with this figure that I like very much. I take a lot of pride in my little monsters. And this figure is in a publication in the LNO Bulletin, which you can access here with the QR codes. And we'll have QR codes through all of our slides, and you can access a bunch of links with them. In this publication, you will find more details and more resources about all the programs we're talking about today. So it's a really good resource for you to have on your desk with you. So we'll start with the ASLO Multicultural Program, or ASLO MP. This program has been around for 35 years. It is fully paid conference travel for students from historically underrepresented groups in STEM. And because this is a program that is NSF funded, it only funds US citizens or permanent residents as per the regulations from NSF. It covers all costs related to travel to the meetings, registration fees, accommodation, field trips, and meals. It also includes 1 year of complimentary ASLO membership. The participants are assigned a meeting mentor that's going to help them navigate their what's probably their first meeting. They also present their work in the student session. They develop peer circles with other students in the program, and they're introduced to other professional role models as well during the conference. The applications are usually due 6 months before the ASLO conferences, and there's approximately 70 applicants accepted on a yearly basis. This program is very much loved. It also produced the first persons of color for the ASLO board, which is really cool. The current grant funding ASLO MP has ended, so the program will undergo a momentary pause while we explore options to continue funding it in the future. If you are aware of funding sources and you want to let us know, we would really appreciate it, but hopefully this will be back as soon as possible.
Yes, and I'll pick up by talking about some meeting travel awards and grants. So speaking from the student side of things, students and early career members are huge. We make up a huge amount of the ASLO members that attend the annual meetings. And if I think I remember back to the poll, about 68% of you said that you were interested in travel awards or ways to get to the meeting. So it's really important for students and early career members to feel like they are able to attend, to share their research and make connections at these meetings. So ASLO is really focused on making sure that those sorts of opportunities are available. We have student travel awards that the student committee shares. We have about a pot of money that we split up so that each student that we award receives either $500 to $1,500 US. These awards are available for ASLO student members, and they can go for anyone traveling from anywhere all over the world. We ask students who are applying for this award to give us a little bit of information about their background or what they hope to get out of the meeting. And then the student committee reviews those applications and ranks them. They then go into a lottery where we pick the awardees until our award money is complete. The applications open around the same time as registration, so keep your eye out if you are interested around August of this year for OSM. And you can always contact the student committee if you have any questions about the student travel awards.
Hello, everyone. So regarding the early career committee, in general, we split between the student committee and early career committee when we grant these travel awards. So it's going to depend on the conference, sometimes on the budget, but normally we have about 7, 10 different awards. And it's going to depend on how you properly justify, like what are you getting from the conference? Why can you, well, you have the opportunity or not to attend before, and mainly just focus on how you are explaining why do you need or you deserve, well, not deserve, why you need this particular travel grant. So it's also in case your university is not giving you enough money, you don't have to ask for the whole amount. You can just ask for a part of the amount. And in the case of childcare, there is an additional grant, but you can also use the early career committee grant for this, up to $500. So it's going to depend where are you located and the expenses. So be careful like when you're filling it. Thank you.
And we're just going to do another poll here. ASLO is always looking for feedback from the community as to what makes the biggest impact. And so we have a quick question for the audience here regarding travel grants.
Has that poll launched? Yeah.
And then just while we're waiting for the poll to come up, I'll also say that I see some questions in the chat about, will the webinar be put online, or is there a way that we can send links later? We will work with the ECOP team to get all these resources out via email to everyone. So this question here is, would receiving partial or full support to attend ASLO conference make the difference between you going or not? And this question really comes back to what's the best way to allocate resources, and does partial support, like the types of support that Alia and Anna are referring to, be helpful to you or not? So I'll take another few seconds to answer this question.
Just to clarify, one of the options in there says AV session. That's a remote session that Anna is going to talk about a little later. But that's to say that that option is just to say you would be able to participate, but only in a remote session.
We now have most participants, so I will end the poll.
Great.
And
there's also a question. I'll take this opportunity, since I'm off mute, to address a question in the chat about, our travel grant opportunities extended to students who are able to extended to students who are able to present their own research. And Alia and Anna can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe you have to have an abstract submitted to the meeting. So whether that's a scientific abstract, but we also have education and policy sessions. There's a variety of different types of sessions that you can present in an ASLO meeting, but you do have to have an abstract.
Yep, that's true. Yep.
Rita, do you want to say anything about the oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, Anna.
You need to be accepted to be able to be considered for a grant.
An accepted abstract.
Right. So it looks like we have sort of an even split between yes, no, and maybe. So we appreciate everyone's feedback here. So we'll close the poll. Unless, Rita, you want to make any more comments on the slide before we move on?
No, I just wanted to say that, for these programs, we have the contact people at the bottom of the slides. So if you have questions, you can email the people responsible for that program, and the QR code will take you to the ASLO website for the meetings, which is where you're going to register. You register for the travel grants as you're registering for the conference. Thanks, Alia and Anna. They will speak again about their respective committees. And oh yeah, great. Polls closed. So we're going to move on to the ecological dissertations in the aquatic sciences, or ECO days. This is also a symposium, but it is a much smaller symposium. And the goal is to build interdisciplinary professional networks among the participants and to expose them to various mentors and experts. So ECO Days is a fully paid symposium opportunity. It covers all costs, including travel to the symposium venue, which is in Hawaii, and any open access publication fees for articles generated during the symposium. We usually have approximately 35 participants and about 15 mentors who are invited to join online. To be eligible to apply, you need to be within the last year of your PhD or up to 1 year after your PhD defense. Again, this is also an NSF-funded program, so it only funds US citizens and permanent residents. However, ASLO provides funds to bring in 3 internationals to the symposium. To apply, you need to send in your resume, a support letter from your supervisor, a 2-page personal statement on your goals and reasons for applying, and also a 3-page outline of a collaborative project that you're proposing to develop during the symposium. Paul Kemp is the contact person for EcoDays. I also helped with the previous one, and I'm helping with the next one, so you can also contact me about it. The current grant funding EcoDays has enough money for another symposium, and Paul and I are actually planning on when that's going to happen. There is a high possibility that it will be at the end of the year. So if you're not an ASLO member, make sure you keep an eye on our social media or sign up to our mailing list at the end of the webinar to know when the call for applications open. Brittany, do you want to talk a little bit about Lorex?
Sure. I have 2 programs that I will be talking about. This one is also open for US-based students, and then the next one is international. The Limnology and Oceanography Research Exchange is designed to give students in the US a experience in conducting international collaborations in their research. And it includes a food and housing stipend for up to 6 weeks in the host country, workshops and webinars and mentorship opportunities, and an opportunity to present your international collaboration research in at an ASLO meeting. We have 7 institutions in 4 countries, and these institutions represent a diversity of expertise in marine and freshwater sciences. It really is designed to give students a experience in proposing research and managing the international collaboration on your own, but we'll go to the next slide. The next opportunity I'm going to talk about for early career professionals is the SciComm internship, the Science Communication internship. This is an opportunity for students and advanced graduate students and recently graduated within 2 years to work with ASLO in the communications office and get experience in all different types of science communication, marketing, publishing, blogging, policy, working on meetings, getting experience in organizing scientific meetings, and putting on programming. Really, the intern works on all the different types of things that I work on for ASLO. It's a remote internship, so the intern works remotely, and it's open to anyone in the world because it's funded directly by ASLO, no NSF involvement here. So I've hosted interns in my 4 years. I've hosted interns from all over the world, and it's really fun. Met a lot of people. It's a 6-month. Well, 15 weeks, depending on the year and where else we might have funding from, between like 4 and 6 months of funding for this. It's a full-time position as well. I am happy to answer some more questions at the end about this opportunity. Well, I'll stop there.
Brittany, before I go on to the next slide, do you want to mention when you think you might be opening a call for applications again?
Yes. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. I host about one intern a year, and typically the call for applications will go out at the end August, September timeframe. is a full-time internship? Yes, it is full-time for the 4 to 6 months. So usually I've hosted students who are either finishing up their thesis or their dissertation, and so have some time to do this work, and then also will spend maybe a little bit of time finishing their thesis, or maybe have just graduated and are using it as a opportunity to see what's next. But yes, it's about 30 hours a week, so almost full-time is the expectation. So we'll answer there's a lot of questions in the chat, and I think we'll get to them at the end. So I'll let Rita continue.
Yeah, I just want to do a brief pause because I've noticed a lot of people talking about only US opportunities for US people. 3 of our 11 programs are funded by NSF. These are the US only, US citizens or permanent residents only. Of these 3, one of them, ASLO, provides additional funds to bring in international people. So it's actually only 2 programs that are only available to US citizens and permanent residents. And of these 2, at least one of them has no more funds. So we're looking into future funding. Hopefully we can find funding from a source that doesn't put a requirement on citizenship. So just keep tuned. You know, there are always developments with ASLO, and things can change, and these programs might be open to internationals as well. So just to continue, I want to talk a little bit about the Global Outreach Initiative. This is a program that is coordinated by the ASLO Education and Engagement Committee. It provides funds for our members to conduct aquatic sciences outreach projects in their own communities. We'll usually provide up to $3,000 per project for work outside of the United States, with at least $2,000 allotted for projects in tribal and First Nations. And we expect to fund 4 to 6 projects per round. They usually fund outreach proposals that have broad impacts in or with local communities worldwide. You can see here on this map, the little tags are from the locations where projects have been conducted in the several years that this program has been funded by ASLO. Again, ASLO funds it, so this is a very international program. For the application, you will need to fill out a proposal template and put in information like project title, location, abstract, budget, description of your project, what are the objectives, what outcomes you anticipate, how are you going to evaluate your project, and also a brief biography for the main principal investigators. And your team that doesn't have to, not everyone in your team has to be an ASLO member, but at least one of the principal investigators has to be an ASLO member, and this is the person who's going to submit the application. Contact person for this program is Bob Chen. He's the chair of the Education and Engagement Committee. Very approachable guy. And I'm happy to say that we have a call for applications open right now. So if you have an outreach project that you would like to develop and you need some funds to do it, apply for it. Apply for our Global Outreach Initiative. Applications are due by May 31st, and you can use this QR code to get you to the website to apply. We also have a program called the Railing Cole Editorial Fellowship, which exposes ECOPs to the world of scientific publishing. I am a past editorial fellow, so I can speak from the heart. This is an amazing program. This is how I got involved with ASLO in the first place. Fellows will work with the ASLO editors and also with our publishing partner, Wiley, on topics of their own interest. There is no limitation. You do what you're interested on. You are expected, however, to communicate your learnings to peers and to potentially facilitate webinars that are related to scientific publishing. Editorial fellows get an annual stipend and a complimentary ASLO membership. They also get full travel support to attend 2 ASLO conferences during their tenure and for the yearly Wiley Strategy Day. So this editorial fellowship is a 2-year fellowship. I forgot to mention that. You are eligible if you are within 1 to 6 years after you've obtained your PhD. You need to have experience with publishing. So you need to have published already 5 articles, 3 of these as a first author at least, and you need to have reviewed at least 2 manuscripts. To apply, you need to send in your CV. You also need to describe your expertise and research interests. You need to provide 2 statements, one on the state of scientific publishing and another one on how you plan on using the opportunity. And you also need to provide an anonymized copy of a peer review report that you've provided to a journal. The contact for the editorial fellowship is also Paul Kemp. He's been selected as the new mentor to the Rayleigh Cole Fellows from this year onwards. And I'm happy to say that there's a call for applications coming up this fall. I'm going to guess September, most likely. And during this call, Paul will select the next 2 editorial fellows. And if you're interested in knowing what the fellows have worked on and things that they have published during their time as editorial fellows, this QR code will take you to a virtual issue that bundles all of the fellow publications. Another really cool publishing related program is the ELNO Letters Early Career Publication Honor. So ELNO Letters is one of the ASLO journals. It's the only fully open access journal from ASLO. And this program provides ECOPs with access to publishing in a highly impactful, but also expensive open access journal. So this program will provide friendly manuscript reviews to everyone who is offered a publication honor. These honorees will then submit their manuscript for LNO letters, and if their manuscript is accepted for publication during peer review, which is an independent process, we don't do anything about that. That's a journal process. If the honorary manuscripts are accepted for publication, then we waive the costs of publication, which is $3,700 US as of now. And Brittany also promotes all of the published articles together with her interns. So this program supports publication of innovative research in the aquatic sciences. To be eligible, you must be an ECOP, and this includes students as well. We have a few publications from I think even master students. Your work must be scientifically significant. It must also fit in the scope of limnology and oceanography letters. You need to have the financial need. And by this, we mean you're not affiliated with an institution that could provide you an open access publication for free. In Australia, for example, all of the universities have agreements with publishers, including Wiley, so that the authors can publish open access free of charge. So these people are not eligible. You must have a need for that waiver to be eligible to apply. We also require that you be the lead and the corresponding author on your manuscript, and you need to meet the journal's data and metadata publication requirements and some submission deadlines. To apply, you need to answer some questions on demographics, also on details and significance of your proposed article. You need to confirm that you are able to meet the data and metadata requirements. And I also want to highlight that priority is given to impactful applications from the Global South and from applicants that identify as underrepresented in STEM. The contact people for this program are the Rayleigh Cole Editorial Fellows. They created and they manage the LNO Letters Early Career Publication Honor. But don't take our word for how great this program is. You can take the word of past and current honorees. They published a joint paper on the program, and you can find that paper on the QR code. You can also find all of the manuscripts that we published with the Early Career Publication Honor in this virtual issue in LNO Letters. And the next round of applications will open in May 2026. So you can already start preparing yourself to apply for this. You don't need to have a finished manuscript, but the more advanced you are in the process, the better your odds. And the last opportunity regarding the ASLO publications has to do with the LNO Bulletin. Like Brittany said, the Limnology and Oceanography Bulletin is the ASLO community magazine. That's how you keep up to date with society news. You can also author pieces for the bulletin, and you can join the editorial board as an associate editor. So if you're interested in writing and editing and scientific publishing, the LNO Bulletin can offer some great opportunities for you. As an author, you can submit 5 types of articles. So, you know, your article is not really a research article, but you're gonna talk a bit more in depth about the topic. You can also submit viewpoints. So anything that you want to express your opinion on. You can also submit an article with community news, or, you know, if you've been to one of the ASLO meetings, if you're going to OSM next year in Glasgow and you want to submit a piece on meeting highlights, you can do that. And we also welcome book reviews. If you'd like to contribute as an author, you can contact the bulletin's editor, Laura Falkenberg. Her email is at the bottom of the slide. And you can also contribute to the bulletin as an associate editor. And by doing that, you gain a lot of editing experience, and you can do a lot of networking as well. The bulletin has 3 associate editors. This is a 2-year position. And 2 of these 3 associate editors are ECOPs. Laura will be selecting the next 2 next year. The call for applications should open early in the year, maybe February or March. So keep an eye on the ASLO socials to know when it opens. And to apply, you just need to send a CV and a cover letter to Laura. I'm going to hand over to Alia now to talk a little bit about the student committee.
Awesome. Thanks, Rita. Yeah, Rita and Brittany just did a wonderful job of summarizing the huge diversity of programs that ASLO has for the variety of its members. And sometimes I find as a student, when I'm, you know, joining a new organization and I don't know where to start, I find that sometimes the best place to start is by looking at the student committee, joining the student committee, seeing if they have any tasks or that need to be done. And that's what I did when I first joined ASLO. As I looked for the student committee, I asked if they needed help, and they said sure. And that's how I was able to get to know the organization as a whole. So the SRAC, the Student Resources and Activities Committee, is a group of ASLO student members. This is an international, it's kind of like an international student steering group. And what we do is we have 3 goals. We listen to ASLO student members, we advocate for ASLO student members, and we also want to generate meaningful student programming, both in person at our meetings and online, that benefit ASLO student members scientifically or through networking. Our group kind of waxes and wanes over time because it's a 3-year position. This is really a sustained volunteer effort. But we have about 5 to 10 members. We try to build our team from student members all over the world. And we work really well together. We have about, we meet monthly. We discuss what sort of programs we want to have at the next meeting. We discuss, how can we make maybe the current student opportunities more equitable? So we do a lot of this bottom up talk and walk that Brittany said is part of the ASLO, experience. So we really do generate a lot of meaningful discussion that we bring up into the higher up levels of ASLO. So if you think this might be a good fit for you, we're currently requesting and welcoming applications for our next cohort of the committee to join. I think we're hoping to start a new committee sometime this summer in June or July. So I would suggest, if you're interested in having your voice heard or putting your foot in the door here at SRAC, take a pic of this QR code. We'll send the links out later. I didn't put my email on this slide, but I will also share that later. Please send an application and we'll be reviewing them until the end of May. And let me know if you have any questions too at the end of this webinar. I'm happy. I'm just seeing a question pop up. Can recent graduates apply? We have, our goal is to have undergraduate to postdoc on our team. So yes, recent grads, if we're talking PhD, can apply.
I think postdocs
Okay,
go to the early career committee though. And Alia's email was in the slide about the meeting travel grants. So when this the recording for the webinar goes up, you can find her contact information on the slide for the meeting travel grants.
Thanks, Rita.
Anna can talk a little more about the early career committee.
Next, we have the ASLO Early Career Committee. So right now we are 12 people. 2 members just join our team. We may have space available. Well, there's going to be like a change in the ACC. I think it's maybe at the end of the year, next year. Some of our members are going to, like, there's time set is ending. You can scan the QR code to see like different upcoming events and different activities that we had. So what is the Early Career Committee doing? First, we have the Amplifying Voices. This started as a webinar. We are restructuring it because we try to make it more flexible. So we have the Amplifying Voices that are similar to this. Webinars where early careers or sometimes even students are able to share their work with the rest of the world. And it's going to be incorporated in the YouTube channel. Also, we have the Amplifying Voices for conferences. What does this mean is for those people, for instance, I'm based in Central America, so I understand how moving or the limited funding that we have available. So if we want to present our work, one of the things that made me join ASLO is because of the Amplifying Voices. So Amplifying Voices during the conferences is waiving all fees for you to present whatever located in the world you are. So this Amplifying Voices is just to give a space for anyone in the world, especially underrepresented groups, to be able to participate and share their works in conferences or just online, and also to develop some kind of networking. Second, we have the well-being webinars. So this series, we invite a professional in the mental health field to share some situations that are affecting or that are of interest for early careers, but also in general, people in academia. So we also present these well-being workshops on the conferences, and we always have this a lot of participation from people. And you can reach the early committee, for instance, if you want to propose, even if you're not a member, if you want to propose a topic that you think it's important to be discussed. And if you scan the QR code, you will have access to a monthly newsletter from the ACC with job opportunities or different activities that are made by ASLO. So focus on the well-being webinars. We developed, or we made 2 publications. First, it was based on mental health and well-being, and it led to the creation, because of the reception that we had, it led to the creation of the webinars. So recently, we also published an article on the neurodivergent community. So within these articles, if you check, you will have at the bottom of the article a small form. You can have access to it and give all the insights or comments to these publications. So because it's not only to grasp a topic, but it's also like what the community, either early careers or anyone, wants to share about it or wants to feel it's a need to be discussed within our webinars. Okay.
Sorry,
So
there was a little glitch.
okay, so in general, we have the YouTube channel when you can see all the Amplifying Voices webinars and some of the mental health. You can see it in the ASLO page. Also, for the aquatic science meetings, you can find that since the first meeting on Madison, we developed a whole session just for people that cannot be in the conference. So it's recording, it's remote, but it gives you a way to reach your work into these very important meetings.
Alia, do you want to talk a little bit about what it's like to be in the ASLO board of directors?
Yes. So I'm a new member on the board. I just began in July, and I have to say it is one of the most rewarding experiences in my student career that I've had. And I think many would say the same, others on the board. It's a really great way to serve ASLO in a different way. The engagement in networking and level of discussion that you're having with others that really care about the organization is it's a really important part of being an aquatic scientist in this group. And so what the ASLO board is it's a group of ASLO members that have voting rights on a whole bunch of things that steer ASLO as an organization, from the programs to the meetings to the committees. And any ASLO member can nominate themselves or others to the board. So it's an open process, so open that I think a past president, Jim Elser, wrote his own bulletin on how to actually do it, how to become a member of the ASLO board. And I believe that QR code goes to that link.
The QR code actually goes to the ASLO webpage for the board of directors, but when you look at the recording, you can just get the DOI for that publication and find it.
Thanks, Rita. So being on the board is kind of like, it's like running a business. It's a whole other way of learning about the other skills it takes to be a scientist. And so on the next slide, in Jim's piece, what are the steps you need to take to become a member of the board? There's different positions that you can run for. I'm a student member. Rita is a member at large, but there's also a treasurer position, secretary, and president. You can either nominate yourself or someone can nominate you. You submit material like a cover letter and a CV that a committee reviews. And those calls come out in December. So the committee reviews all of the nominations, pulls them and reviews them, and then they select those that will be sent out for voting by the whole ASLO membership. The election, one of which is ongoing right now, we're looking for 2 current members at large and 1 treasurer. Elections end in May and terms start in July. So if you have any interest in joining the board or any questions, you can contact the nominations committee chair using the email at the bottom of the slide. Rita, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, we just should mention that these are 3-year terms with the board. And it's really interesting. So we've talked about a lot of opportunities. So we talked about opportunities for travel to conference and symposia. We talked about opportunities for research exchange, to conduct outreach projects, to also learn and practice a bit more scientific communication. We talked about a few opportunities that are related to scientific publishing, and these last slides with the two committees and the board of directors are very clear examples of opportunities for us to develop and practice leadership skills, which are really, really important for ECOPs. So these are all of the ASLO programs at the moment. I personally am always thinking of new programs and trying to figure out what is feasible, what can we do without money, who do we have that might volunteer to take charge and to lead things. So, you know, there are always new things being thought about and hopefully developed as well. And I also wanted to quickly mention the 3 types of awards that we have at ASLO. So these are ways that the society recognizes its members in the scientific community. We have the author spotlight session. So this is how we recognize highly downloaded and highly cited articles that are published in the ASLO journals. The leading or corresponding authors, which include students and ECOPs, they are invited to present the work that is in that publication in biannual.
Hi everyone. For those who are still with us, we're very sorry that the webinar abruptly ended. We will be sending around the slides, but I will let Rita chat and hopefully answer any other questions. And I will, yeah, fingers crossed it does not happen again, and we're very sorry about that. Thank you.
Just give me 1 second as I'm putting up the slides for everyone to see. Let's see if they'll pop up. Yes, there we go. Hope everyone is back in the room. If not, the recording will be available online and you can contact us at any time. My email address is also available on the ASLO website if you look for the board members, Alia's as well. So there's lots of people you can contact. So I was just talking about the author spotlight session, which is one of the ways in which ASLO recognizes highly downloaded and highly cited articles in our journals. So the leading and corresponding authors of these publications, and that includes ECOPs, students as well, they are invited to present their work in this biannual session, the author spotlight session, which happens during the ASLO Aquatic Sciences meetings. And there's usually a 2 to 3 years lag between the article being published and the authors being invited to present during the author spotlight session. For these authors, if they would not otherwise attend the conference, ASLO will waive the registration and the abstract submission fee for them to present in this session. And if you're curious about what are these publications, we have a virtual issue across all of the ASLO journals that you can find in this QR code that bundles all of these publications. We also have the ASLO Fellows and Sustaining Fellows program. This one recognizes the outstanding contributions of our members to the ASLO journals, to meetings, and to committees. ASLO relies on the academic excellence of our members and on them investing their time and energy to put our mission into action. Like Brittany said, this is a very bottom-up society, volunteer-based. So for the members that have achieved 5 of the 7 criteria that we list there, they can self-nominate or nominate others to be honored as fellows and sustaining fellows during the ASLO conferences. And these criteria are things like continuous membership years, whether they've been members of ASLO committees, how many meetings they have attended, have they chaired or co-chaired a session or a meeting, have they authored articles in the ASLO journals, have they reviewed for ASLO journals, or have they been members of editorial boards or of the board of directors. So the calls happen every year in August and September, and the fellows and sustaining fellows are usually honored the year after. And the last way with which ASLO recognizes members are the ASLO Awards. There are several awards, and they recognize outstanding individual performance. They also acknowledge all of the accomplishments of the aquatic sciences research community. If you want any information that is specific to each of these awards and how to nominate for each of these awards, you can follow the QR code at the top right of the slide. I want to highlight, because there are two awards that are specific for ECOPs. These are always due by mid-October to be sort of highlighted during the conferences the next year. So we have the Raymond Lindemann Award, and that is for an ECOP that has written an outstanding paper. And we also have the Jan Schindler Early Career Award, and that is for ECOPs who have had a balanced contribution to research, science training, and broader societal issues. So there are other awards that could also be received by ECOPs, but these two are specific for ECOPs. And if you want more information about any of these awards, the QR code on this slide at the top of the page will take you to find the contact information for the chairs of each of the awards subcommittees. Brittany, do you want to bring it home?
Yes, I'll end off. Thank you everyone for hanging in there with us, and we will share the recording, and we'll have a lot more events and networking events coming in the coming months. So we'll get to meet again. I just want to end with, we want to be your scientific society throughout your career and your journey, your professional journey. We have a lot of opportunities that are specific to career stage and different types of careers in the aquatic sciences. We want to foster a supportive community, an inclusive community, and we hope that you'll consider joining. Besides access to professional development opportunities, members get discounts on publication fees when you're ready to publish, and conference registration, access to, like we mentioned, meeting grants, and some professional development programming specific for members. The cost to be a member is pretty low, $30 for students and $50 for early career, and it's free for students and early career professionals from developing countries, and $20 for a regular developing country membership. And we hope you'll consider. So there's lots of QR codes on this presentation. We'll send out a summary of all of the different opportunities that we talked about here to the registrants, of course, the recording. But if you're interested right now, you can scan the QR code for more information on the various committees. The one on the bottom will bring you straight to the form to participate. We're very active on social media, so we're always posting about our various opportunities there many times. So consider following us on your platform of choice. Check out our YouTube channel where we have our meeting plenaries and, as Anna mentioned, our like webinars and workshops that the committees are putting on, available for viewing. We have one more poll for the people that are here who would like to just put if you would like to register for the email list. Otherwise, if you don't want to answer the poll, or if you're watching the recording, you can use that QR code. And this is a mailing list for people who may be members or not, so you don't have to be a member, and we'll send you some tailored information about to your interests with the mailing list. Also on this list, very important, if you're interested in reviewing for an ASLO journal, there's a space in there to check that you're interested in becoming a reviewer, and we'll send those on to our editorial team to get you in the reviewer database. We're always looking for reviewers, and reviewing for an ASLO journal is great. So with that, I think I will end the poll, and we can answer any questions with the time that we have left.
Thanks, Brittany. I just want to have a last comment. All of the links that you've seen today and more are in that publication in one of the first few slides. So that was the publication with my pretty image with little monsters. All of these links and QR codes and more are all in that publication. It is a must-have little guidebook to professional development opportunities with ASLO. We can put the link in the chat again.
In terms of questions, Brittany, Marwa has their hand raised. I can get them to unmute.
Sure.
Hello. Yeah, this is Marwa. Thank you so much, Brittany, and everyone for this nice presentation about Oslo activities. I'm afraid that I missed this part, but how can I join the editorial board to review like journal articles, sorry, at Oslo?
Yeah, so if you click that link that I just put in the chat, the interest form, so you can sign up either for the emails or to be considered to review, or both. And if you sign up there, we'll pass your names along to the editors, and they'll get you set up. Rita, do you want to add any? Because yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to make a distinction. You can sign up to let the editors know you would like to be considered as a peer reviewer for the journals. And the editorial board is a very different thing. So the editorial board opportunity that I spoke about as an associate editor, that is for the Limnology and Oceanography Bulletin. So for that one, the call for the next applications should come out, I think, in February next year.
Okay, so how can I join the peer reviewer? I signed up with my name and email, but is there like any email that I can contact directly?
If you have questions specific
I'll get a
about,
link.
yeah, if you have questions specific about like you would like to review for LNO methods or LNO, one of the journals, on our website, there's contact information for all of the editors, and you can feel free to message that specific editor about if you have any questions about reviewing for the journal or authoring for the journal, any journal specific questions. So they would be the best ones to answer those kinds of questions.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yep. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
There was another question that I think is related that I think Rita, Anna, and Alia might be able to shed some light on, which is at what career stage should one be realistically able to contribute as a reviewer? So when along your journey did you start thinking about reviewing? And maybe you can share when you first reviewed a paper and how that went for you. So does someone want to take that?
I can start now as a student, and maybe Anna will have a different answer as an early career. I just reviewed my first paper 2 weeks ago, and it was 2 weeks ago, and one thing that really helped me was something that I became aware of also very recently through ASLO, which is this Wiley peer reviewer course. Our publications are published through Wiley. Wiley offers for anyone a I don't know, I think it's like a 4 or 5 segment peer review course where you can learn what you should be looking for, what you should avoid, the length of time you should be spending. Without having that, I would have probably spent way too long reviewing this paper. So I was able to feel really confident, even though it was a new and scary thing. So I did it just recently as a third-year PhD student.
So in my case, I did it as a PhD candidate. So it was just before I did my dissertation. Well, I did my defense. So in general, it's a little bit scary when it's the first time. But I think it depends on the particular topic or the field, because if it's very specific, you feel more comfortable to discuss. Either if you have your professor or somebody that can help you to, okay, maybe what should I think or take into account when giving feedback? Imagine like you are receiving feedback. What is that person may want from you? But you also need to be like very critical, especially in some areas if the methodology is quite important for the development. So it's going to be completely depending on the field. How comfortable do you feel in that particular area of discussion to be able to criticize? But I see a lot of people, PhDs or sometimes even masters, that are able to give feedback or are requested, invited by journals to give feedback. So it's going to be related to the topic.
Yeah, I also did it as a PhD candidate. I think I was towards the end of my first year or early in my second year. And I would advise everyone who feels like they are ready to review to talk to your supervisor about it. So you can either review with them. They would have to ask the journal to do the revision with you as their students. Or if you feel like you're prepared to review on your own, you can also ask your supervisor to indicate you as a reviewer, or you can sign up to the ASLO list that I just put the link on the chat. In my case, I think it was my supervisor who suggested me as a reviewer. She probably declined an invitation to review and suggested that they contact me. And it was a really, really great opportunity because that's when I started getting some insight into what I need to do as an author to get my manuscripts through peer review. So you learn how to think as a peer reviewer and what you as an author need to do to get through peer review. I often review manuscripts for authors who speak English as a foreign language. So I tend to spend more time than most people usually recommend you to spend on a review, but I do try to help as much as possible because I come from the background. I am a speaker of English as a foreign language. So whenever I can, I try to help a bit more. But obviously you don't have to, and it's not necessary. It's just something that I like to do myself. But if you feel confident that you can start reviewing or review on your own, there are ways of doing it. Talk to your supervisor. You can always email editors of the journal that you have in mind. Like I said, you can use the link on the chat to sign up to be considered as a peer reviewer for the ASLO journals as well.
We have another hand raised from Andrea.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me well?
You're a little low for me, but I can hear you.
What about now? It's still very low.
That's better.
So, well, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing all this information. Andrea from ECOPs Central America, the coordinator for the capacity development projects. I had a question regarding, I put it in the chat, but I will ask it again. It's regarding the paid internships. I was just wondering if master students that are going to graduate in September are eligible to apply this year for that paid internship. That was it. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think you're referring to the SciComm internship. Yes, if you are a master's student and you're planning on graduating in September, you can apply this year. So it's designed for students who are sort of the advanced stages of their graduate work or up to 2 years post graduation. So yes, you would be eligible to apply.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. There was another question in the chat about opportunities to attend summer school or training in limnology and oceanography. I will open it up to the others on the call too, but I don't have anything specific that comes to mind with regards to like summer school or courses, but ASLO is through our social media channels and our jobs board on the website, which is free to browse, even if you're not a member. So you can look there. We're always posting both on the jobs board and our social media opportunities that we come across that would be of interest to our members and to the community. So if you follow us on some social media, if you check our website from time to time, if you sign up for the early career newsletter, and that we'll send all of those links again so you don't have to go scrolling around for it. Those are some areas where we're sharing other opportunities that would be of interest along those lines.
And perhaps I can comment on the summer school or training opportunities. We don't currently have any of those two types. However, there are conversations starting. So maybe in the near future, ASLO is, like I said, a volunteer-run organization. So it will depend both on manpower and on fund availability. So if you wanted to organize, for example, you could join one of the ASLO committees and try to propose that activity and funding sources through that committee. But like I mentioned, just keep an eye on the socials, on the mailing list. If there are any new developments regarding summer schools or training in limnology and oceanography, we'll definitely share those widely.
Are there any more questions from anybody?
I think Gabriel had a question, a general question on the chat. Gabriel's asking whether ASLO is interested in limnology of African Great Lakes. ASLO is interested in limnology and oceanography everywhere. So, for example, if you have a study on the limnology of African Great Lakes and you're writing it up as a publication, you could potentially submit that article to the LNO Letters Early Career Publication Honor when it opens in May 2026, because I think I saw that you are from the Democratic Republic of Congo. So that would be a great vehicle to promote, you know, limnology in the African Great Lakes.
Okay, well, oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I see the comment if there is an age limit, because it happened before too. So normally you can be 50 years old and still be a student. Or being an early career is just from your PhD up to 10 years afterwards. So like in my case, I started my PhD around nearly my 30 years. So we don't have that gap or that specific age gap. It's more about being like supported to underrepresented groups, so anywhere. And we add these remote options because there is a lot of issues going on everywhere. So it's not only about geographical location, but also fund availability. And we don't want to limit it, those opportunities, just because you are in somewhere else. ASLO is one of the organizations that is quite open and quite supportive for all its members, despite wherever you are, the age you have, or the career level you are.
So basically, your age doesn't matter if you want to join. if you're thinking about which type of membership you need to get, then like Anna said, you are considered an early career professional up to 10 years after your PhD, and that excludes career breaks. So if you've taken a year of parental leave, that 10 years excludes that year of leave that you took. So the main membership types are students, early career professionals, and then regulars, which are your post early career, your mid and late career researchers.
Okay, well, with that, I'd like to end the webinar and thank you so much to Brittany, Anna, Alia, and Rita for your awesome presentations. I think we all learned so much, and as we said before, thank you to those who are still here now for sticking with us. We'll make sure that the webinar that is posted online stitches together the first half and this end Q&A because I think it has been incredibly helpful. And we will also make sure that all attendees can get sent the slides as well. So yeah, with that, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.